Well, thanks for joining us here on the News at 10. We're going to get to some Friday night football in a little bit, but let's start with some major developing stories in the area, and this is a big one. All 6 executive officers of the Ada County Republican Central Committee, they have resigned. This is another escalation of GOP infighting in the state of Idaho. And the crux of this from Ada County's now former GOP executive board, quote, given the state GOP's current political climate and direction, it has become impossible to lead in Ada County effectively. And for those of you wondering, yes, this is related to faction warfare within the Idaho GOP. GOP Chair Dorothy Moon has seen quite a collection of conflicts since taking over in July of 2022. So what is all this about, this later chapter now out of Ada County? Well, I obtained some in-depth explanation with documentation about the Ada Executive Board saying they've had enough. It comes down to this. The Ada County Republican Party has plunged into turmoil after its entire top leadership team abruptly resigned en masse late Thursday. The mass resignations include the county chair, 3 vice chairs, treasurer, and a state committeewoman. In a blistering resignation letter, the departing leaders accuse the Idaho Republican Party, the Idaho GOP. It accuses the state leadership of unethical behavior, including bullying, intimidation, leaking of confidential documents, and actively undermining the Ada County Party's effectiveness and legitimacy. The resignations appear to be the culmination of months of escalating tensions between the Ada County Party and the state party organization, controlled by factions that are loyal to Idaho GOP Chair Dorothy Moon. Examples cited in the resignation letter include the Idaho GOP levying $64,000 in mandatory dues on Ada County, which is argued hampered the county's party ability to support local GOP candidates. The state party also allegedly took punitive actions that damaged Ada County. Furthermore, some Ada County Republican precinct committee members were accused of betraying their own county party and aiding the Idaho GOP in undermining it, saying in the letter, quote, everything we have mentioned is entirely unacceptable, unethical, bullying, and often hypocritical behavior, the resignation letter stated. Despite the chaos, the letter touted the Ada County GOP's recent track record of success under the now resigned leadership. In the past 3 years, the letter says, we raised and invested more money, $260,000 in cash for political races than all other Idaho GOP counties combined. However, the letter argued that the Idaho GOP sees Ada County as full of the wrong kind of Republicans and seeks to actively shrink rather than grow the party. Quote, it seems that certain people in the Idaho GOP do not like the type of Republicans the voters elect in Ada County. Letter continues saying, quote, it is clear that many of the self-styled state party elites treat other Republicans with other disdain, and no shortage of bullying, harassment, intimidation, and retribution will be unleashed on those Republicans the state party wants to purge. By gutting the Ada County Party leadership, the escalating tensions have now boiled over into outright inter-party warfare, a continued theme, plunging Idaho's Republican ranks into continued questions. So far, the Idaho GOP leadership has not publicly responded to the accusations of unethical conduct or, in general, the devastating mass resignations. But the open turmoil now consuming Idaho's largest county party, it reveals a Republican Party in the midst of a widening internal schism. Now, frankly, we could talk about this for hours, but to tie a bow on this for you, on the latest, we wanted to give you a timeline of the Ada County Republican Central Committee frustrations with the Idaho GOP. April 20th, 2023. A complaint is filed by 17 unnamed members of the Ada County Republican Central Committee to the Idaho Republican Party. The chair alleging issues with the ACRCC's financial reporting, including discrepancies between treasurer reports and filings with the Secretary of State, improper reporting on reimbursements, inadequate financial reviews, late IRS filings, and a lack of bidding on large contracts. The complaint requests that the Idaho GOP conduct an audit of the Ada County Republican Central Committee. June 2, 2023, the Idaho GOP chair sends a letter to the Ada County Republican chair and treasurer notifying them of the complaint and requesting financial records to investigate the allegations. June 9, 2023, the Ada County Republican Central Committee chair and treasurer respond, disputing the allegations and stating that most issues were already addressed or did not violate bylaws. They declined to provide the requested records. June 20th, the Idaho GOP chair issues a written determination giving the Ada County Republicans a deadline of July 31st to undergo a financial review by an appointed committee, citing substantive discrepancies despite lack of access to records. July 18, 2023. The Ada County Republican Central Committee Chair and Treasurer appealed the determination to the Idaho GOP Executive Committee, arguing the state party lacks jurisdiction, citing denial of due process and questioning the validity of an anonymous complaint. September 23rd, the Idaho GOP Executive Committee hears the appeal but denies it due to the lack of representation from the Ada County Republican Central Committee to defend it. September 25th, the Executive Committee decision is issued along with an unredacted list of the 17 original complainants. October 2nd, 2023, the Ada County Republican Central Committee Chair and Treasurer appealed the Executive Committee's decision to the Idaho GOP Central Committee, citing flawed procedures and a lack of discussion of the merits during the appeal. Only a matter of days later, the entire Ada County Republican Central Committee Executive Board resigns. So this isn't the end of the story, far from it likely, but we have not heard back from GOP Chair Dorothy Moon or her press team at this point. We did reach out this morning and we will circle back next week. We also did ask the recently resigned if they were interested in doing an interview. They did decline for now.